So I'm currently reading this book called Learning to Love Yourself. It's actually my third time reading the book, but I feel like every time I reread this book, or any other book for that matter, I see new insights because I'm viewing the book through a different frame of reference. Now with that being said, on this read through, this section about sexuality really stuck out to me, especially in regards to NoFap. Now I'm gonna read a little excerpt from the book, and you guys can go and get the book for yourselves if you want, but we can begin by loving ourselves for all the reasons we do not love our sexuality. Then going on through to open up in love and acceptance for those deeply positive sexual feelings inside. By learning how to love sexuality, we can learn more about how to love life itself, for sexuality is but one expression of a deeper life energy that resides in us all. So this really stuck out to me, in addition to another sentiment that he expressed in the book about making the distinction between the expression of sexual energy and the experience of sexual energy, feeling sexual energy versus expressing sexual energy. And it's a very important distinction to make, especially on your NoFap and or retention journey. The reason why is because NoFap and retention is not about suppressing your sexual feelings. It's about suppressing your sexual expression, or better yet, suppression has a very negative connotation to it. It's all about diverting your sexual expression towards something greater. You see, what he said there about sexuality being an expression of life itself, of that life force energy, you have to understand what that life force energy is. That life force energy is your innate desire to expand. Your innate desire to expand and to connect. Now, let's just approach this from a biological perspective. Okay, let's completely discount the spiritual aspect of it. From a biological perspective, why do we find pleasure in reproduction, in the process of reproduction and distorted ways of reproduction? For example, the PMO cycle. The reason why we find so much pleasure in those things is because we are expanding ourselves. We are perpetuating our identity such that even if we physically die, we'll continue to live on. This is our ego's way of expanding itself from its limited frame of reference. Okay, completely disregarding spirituality, which I do feel like if you're going to be successful on NoFap and especially semen retention, you do have to find some aspect of divinity in your life. That life force energy has to take a deeper meaning than just biological life. Because what you have to understand is that NoFap, to my point earlier, is all about finding that joy for life, and to an even greater extent, finding that deeper purpose. You have to find a deeper purpose than simply reproduction. Because biologically, that's our only purpose. Our only purpose is to reproduce. We don't need anything beyond that. Basic survival is all we need. We don't need video cameras. We don't need computers. We don't need any of this stuff. All we truly need is the ability to reproduce. But when you introduce the spiritual aspect of your life, whatever that means for you, that can mean whatever resonates with you and your soul. When you introduce the spiritual aspect of your life, that's when you find a deeper rooted purpose. When you find a deeper rooted purpose than simply biological reproduction, that's what opens the door for you to divert or transmute that energy from sexual expression to purposeful expression. That's when you can utilize the energy to, for example, make YouTube videos, or to write books, or to do live coaching sessions, to make music, to start a business. You can use that energy to do whatever you want to do in this life. Because when you fulfill your purpose, what are you truly doing? You're using your life force energy to bring your imagination to life. You're giving life to your vision. The life that I'm living right now, this started off as a vision in my mind. This started off as a vision. And for the longest time, I didn't even believe in my vision, but it believed in me. It believed in me so much that it guided me to all of the resources that I needed to kickstart my NoFap journey. And by extension, my semen retention journey. And in doing those things, I was able to divert all of that same energy that I would have spent trying to reproduce, which, I mean, at the age of, I believe I was 20 years old when I started NoFap. I wouldn't want kids anyways, but instead of using that energy to reproduce or to simulate reproduction, I used that energy to build my purpose, to bring life to my vision. And as of late, as I recently fell down the rabbit hole of the PMO cycle once again, I got an up close and personal look at the importance of having a deeper purpose, a deeper why. Because ultimately, you're never going to be able to justify in your mind why NoFap and especially semen retention is worthwhile unless you have that deeper sense of purpose. What that deeper sense of purpose is for you, only you can determine that. But what I can say is this: your deeper purpose will always be found at the intersection between your gift and your passion. Whatever you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort, that's your gift. For me, for example, I noticed that I have a gift for pattern recognition, for one, but also communication, especially in the written form. But over time, my speaking skills have caught up to my writing skills, more or less. I also have a passion for creating. I have a passion for creating things. I have a passion for inspiring other people. I have a passion for giving people those light bulb moments, those aha moments in videos like these, and in books like the books that I've written and that I'm currently writing. I have a passion for doing those things in that I do them for free. I grew up giving people advice. I grew up creating things for fun. I grew up playing video games and leveling up my character. And unbeknownst to me, I was the main character in my own life, and I could level myself up by doing things like NoFap and retention. You see, what you have to understand is that when you have a passion, a true passion for something, money, the outcome, the reward, it doesn't matter to you. It becomes obsolete, if not insignificant, because ultimately you find fulfillment in the journey itself. That's what gives you life. That's what gives your life meaning. That's why so many people, they have this nihilistic outlook on life. They believe that life has no inherent meaning, but it does. The problem is they haven't found the meaning for themselves. You see, you can't look around you and find your meaning in other people. You have to find your meaning in yourself. And when you find your meaning in yourself, then you can express it to other people. But how can you do that if you're caught up in the PMO cycle? You see, that's why you need to utilize these tools, utilize things like NoFap and semen retention. And I guess I shouldn't say need. You can be successful without these things. You can get money without these things. But ultimately, in my personal opinion, I do believe that in order to live the most fulfilling life possible, it behooves you to utilize that life force energy toward a deeper purpose than reproduction. Now, that's not to say that when you find the love of your life, that you should completely abstain from sex altogether. Okay, I personally believe that when you have a partner in your life that helps uplift you, that helps build you up, and even helps you fulfill your purpose, then you relapsing on retention, you giving that life force energy to them, is you investing your life currency, if you will, into an investment that will pay you exponential returns over time. It's just like saving your money versus investing your money. You could do retention, i.e. save your money, and you can get the little bank interest rates where you might get 1 or 2% interest every single year. Or you can invest your money in an index fund and get 7% return every single year, i.e. having the right partner and cultivating that relationship through the use of sexual activity and even release. Now, everyone has to make that decision for themselves, but what I'm basically getting at is that life force energy is more than just sexuality. Sexuality is simply an expression. It is the biological expression of this life force energy. And that life force energy is the key to finding and fulfilling your purpose at the greatest possible level, at the highest possible capacity that you can as a human and as a spirit. It's the key to cultivating healthy, fulfilling, and sustainable relationships with other people who resonate with you and your life journey and your life purpose. What you also need to understand is that if you don't make the most out of this energy, if you don't utilize this energy, pimp this energy to your benefit in order to fulfill your purpose, and yet you try to do something like NoFap and or semen retention, one of two things will happen. One, you won't be able to do it. Okay, you'll relapse because you don't have a strong enough why and your biological urges will force you into submission. Or two, you'll express these sexual feelings in very highly distorted ways, i.e. committing acts that will put you on the sex offender list for life. I'm not going to get into that, but I think you get what I'm getting at there. Okay, ultimately, these are natural inclinations that cannot be completely suppressed. They have to be expressed in ways that are beneficial to you and those around you.